Hi, good evening. I was glad that the Hart Council leader, Dave Neighbour, took time to speak on the radio today. However, I was disappointed with the shortness of the BBC Radio Surrey interview this morning. Whilst limited to a little over a minute, he usefully covered some good things that Hart is doing, with a couple of nice examples of the council delivering free Easter eggs to some, plus a fridge to an elderly lady in need. He had a good mention for Waitrose and Morrison's and their help, but it was a shame that the BBC had allocated only such a short time. So much else is important locally, including the help other businesses and people are contributing. Regrettably, there just wasn't enough time for him to talk about some of these things, which many residents have said are also of interest. So, I'd like to thank him for his brief comments and cover some of the other things I and other councillors are after about. He didn't have time to touch on business support, and the Hart support for local businesses is really important. There wasn't mention of the significant delays in paying the business grants, where Hart has already received money from government. The latest figures we've had from the Hart Joint Chief Executives on Thursday indicated that roughly a third of businesses locally had received their Hart grant payments. That is a lot less than some other council areas, but more than some. The delay is causing difficulty for them, suppliers, and even staff could suffer. It could even cause businesses to fail. We were told that the delay was due to capital resources, but Hart haven't as yet released accurate details of how they're prioritising applications, how they're working to clear the backlog, how many have applied and been paid out, and how many will be paid out over the next week. Speed is of the essence. Other than the incorrect information that was issued over a week ago, they still haven't updated this despite requests, so we hope on Monday this will be improved on. Another area is volunteers and business. There wasn't much time to mention the phenomenal work done by so many volunteers, including local charities and the COVID aid groups, Fleet Lions, Fleet Phoenix, some of the pubs, restaurants and other businesses, many of them doing absolutely amazing things with great coordination from Hart and Hart Voluntary Action, in some cases. There's great support also from Hampshire County Council, who put a lot of things into support across the whole of the county, or of the local parish support, where some like Crondall, Yateley and Hook have really stepped up to help. A few more examples, like the work some are carrying out delivering food and essentials, including medicines, for children and others in need, would have been good, so I'm pleased Hart has now started to acknowledge that and feature this, along with groups like the Facebook group ForFleetsSake. I'd also like to add my thanks to others on behalf of all councillors and Hart staff. A huge thank you to our residents. You've been amazing. Specifically, I'd like to mention, as many are, a thanks to the carers, the NHS staff, GPs, medical staff, the first responders, and all those others delivering those essential services and products. It's been amazing to see how some of the local businesses have stepped up, delivering food and essential goods, helping out both existing businesses and new businesses. The resourcefulness of businesses and people in this area, including the likes of Fleet Bid, who are really helping well, and moving organisations online, offering deliveries, things like that, is really encouraging. In terms of vulnerable people, domestic abuse in this environment is growing. Knowing what to do and how to access support is important, and helping others if needed. We know there are some problems for some. Hart and Hampshire have help in place to support, but there wasn't time to touch on that in the interview, nor the protection against fraud and crime, where our police and the Safer Neighbourhood team have been really helpful. A lot of this information is online, so hopefully that'll be helpful for you. In terms of the parks, our parks are mostly open, except where social distancing and virus transfer may be an issue, such as the playgrounds. Regarding the closure of Eltham Park grazing area, part of the country park, even the minister responsible seems to be against that, as am I, so I'm hopeful that it can be properly explained or actually reopened as soon as possible. What else is important that's worth mentioning? People need to drive safer on their essential trips. Incredibly, we've had lots of speeding vehicles. That's not in itself a problem, but please stick to the speed limits. This week, however, we had a car on its roof at the Eltham Hitches Lane roundabout, which meant police and emergency services had to attend. I don't know the circumstances, I don't know what was involved, but the increase in cars driving too fast, vehicles driving too fast and dangerous driving could give rise to increased accidents. Please slow down, drive carefully, and only drive or go out if compliant with the government advice. Lastly, it's a shame that sadly there wasn't time for the BBC to allow mention of the fact that we've had a number of people in Hart, including here in Fleet, who have died due to COVID-19. Our sincere condolences to anyone affected, families and friends by this. It reinforces the need to follow the advice. Stay at home, socially distance, follow the government advice. We are such a great community. It's a shame that so little time was given by the BBC and that lots of the info that I've just covered hasn't come out. I will cover more and continue to cover it in my daily bulletins that I put out. I'd hope there'll be more opportunities for coverage over the next few days, both from the media, BBC and others, and proactively from the Council, officially, including on social media, because it's so useful. Lastly, I just wanted to say, have a good evening, have a great week. It's going to be another difficult week, and we've still got some more to come. But our community is resilient, and I really, really enjoy being able to help in Fleet. If there's anything I can do, or anything my colleagues can do, please contact us, council officers and councillors. Thanks.